All right, welcome back, everybody. I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to put this back in here. It's pretty simple, and I'm just going to go get rid of that function right here. In this tutorial, I want to show you something called an if statement here, okay? And an if statement, all it does is it checks to see if something is true. So, for example, if I were to say, if you were to imagine your house and if the heat isn't on, then it's going to be cold. That's what an if statement is. So, and if the heat is on, it's going to be warm. So it checks for a condition and it has an action as a result. So usually you need some kind of variable, and I'm just going to set up a global variable, and I'll call this variable, we can call this variable number or cool number or something like that, right? And we'll make it equal to 1, right? So I will initialize it. All right, so we have cool number. Now, what I can do here is if I put in an if statement, all an if statement looks like is this. So we got if cool number. Now, by the way, what I'm about to show you, I could spend an hour talking about. I'm going to put double equals to 1, okay? And you need a curly bracket again. Okay, and I'm going to put all this in the curly bracket here. So if cool number is equal to 1, then it's going to execute this code. And if cool number doesn't equal 1, then it won't execute the code. So you can imagine that if we type in something here, like this, fun, it still works. But watch this. If I change cool number to 2, and I type in fun, guess what? It doesn't work because cool number is not equal to 1, and so this code doesn't get executed. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to just actually close the HTML here, and let's just take a quick look at this. Now, another thing that JSBin doesn't necessarily do, but pretty much every other programming language does this, is they indent. Okay, and it kind of does this here. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to return this curly brace just because it makes a little bit more sense to look at it like this, even though when I program, I always put it like this because I know what I'm doing, but to explain it, I'm going to go ahead and do this, okay? And you'll see that in here. You can see that, I'm just going to go ahead and tab this out a bit, and you can see that the curly brackets, this curly bracket looks like this, okay? And everything within this function, this is what the block of the function is what my highlighted text here. Everything within the if statement is what I've highlighted in here. So these curly brackets are super important because you need to section off blocks of code because of it. And we've already seen that with a function, but they also work for if statements, okay? Now, in some languages, what will end up happening is that if you have a one-line if statement, so for example, if I just type this in, we have, if cool number equals 1 or equals 2, okay, and then we can type in do something like this. So sometimes you can get away with that, but it's best practices to always put in the curly brackets, okay? So you can see that this is the curly brackets here. And the way it works is that as soon as you open up another curly bracket and you close it, the closing bracket is going to go to the last open curly bracket. So this is a closing bracket, goes up to the last open curly bracket. This is the last closing bracket. It's going to go up to the last curly bracket there, okay? So if cool number is equal to 1, it's going to do that. And we've equaled cool number is equal to 2, okay? Simple enough. And let's go make sure this works one more time. I'm just going to type in the word fun, and there we go. That's all it is, okay? So that is an if statement. I'll see you guys in the next tutorial.